We are the co-founders of Dipper.
Dipper is a technology platform that guides professionals of color to a better workplace, one review at a time.
Dipper is your safe space. It is the time for you to share your voice with a community that you are a part of. Visit us and join today at ourdipper.com.
Welcome to...
I can't.
I love you.
Are you ready for some magic?
I am ready to create magic. In fact, anyone that is tuning in right now know that Jacinta and I like to have a little bit of fun with our topics. Where's my light? Oh my goodness.
I know. I feel like those are supposed to light up, right?
Today's topic is your diversity leader. Guess what? Is not your magician. Now, this is my wand. I had to take my
And Netta, you cannot pull a bunny out of a hat.
Woo! I love that. I love that. And
you can't do it.
I love it.
Do it.
And when we get tired, sometimes we just have to say, nope, not today.
Not today. Not tomorrow either.
Not tomorrow either. Well, again, today's topic is your diversity leader is not, and let me repeat, is not a magician, unfortunately, as much as we would all like to be magicians, right? So you all know that I like to start off with head to ourdipper.com right now. Make sure that you sign up, create your profile, and then review all companies that you have ever been a part of, including the one that you're in now. If you're having a great experience,
we're great
for you.
Post the jobs. Post the jobs.
Right, exactly. If you're having not so great of an experience, we want to hear about it as well, because we want to make sure that people are guided to better workplaces, one review at a time. So head there right now. We also have a forum and you can connect with us. But on to our topic, and I'm going to just
and the people are probably wondering, why all the props?
Why?
This is a fun topic, although it can be not so fun when you're in the middle of it, right, Netta?
Right. No, it's really not. It's really not. It actually is exhausting. It's overwhelming. And then it really empowers people to just leave. And that's how there's such heavy turnover within the DEI space. You'll see one DEI leader at an organization for a short period of time, and then they're on to the next because of the mistreatment, the stress, and the level of high expectation put on, but a lack of accountability put on those that are part of the organization, whether it be employees and most importantly, senior leaders that should be pushing these efforts forward.
And a lot of times the change work is not the work of an individual,
right?
Of the one person, right?
Yeah.
And that magic, like when we think of like when you go to a magic show and whether it's a birthday party, or I've even been to a restaurant and they had like a magician come by. Yeah. That was like an individual, typically running around performing tricks. Yeah. Where in DEI, and someone posted, you're talking about strategy, you're talking about scale, you're talking about humans, you're talking about something that's long-term, that's going to have a significant impact to what the organization's building. And it's not just going to happen overnight. And it's not just going to happen because you wave your wand.
Right? Yeah, you're spot on. We can't just, DEI leaders can't just wave a wand. I know, folks.
Right.
Saying, Netta, this is not a wand. It's my wand. Okay, respect it. You can't just wave a wand and then voila, you've increased diversity. Voila.
Yeah.
Right? It's very, very, interesting, because one of the things that I always say is, if organizations really want to start seeing impact, one, they have to make sure that DEI leaders are equipped with the resources. The funding has to be there the same way that you treat a marketing department, the finance department, engineering department, and any other department is the same way that you need to treat the DEI department. And in fact, I'm saying the DEI department should be separate from the people team or the HR department, right?
And like, what's the budget? Like, what's the investment
Right.
that is really taken to step this forward? And totally understand a lot of budgets, and folks in the comments, like, I'm sure a lot of budgets are being tightened right now,
Right.
right? So if not, then maybe now you're being looked to perform a lot with
Right.
very little. And
Right.
so now, can sometimes those, are there at times resources that actually don't cost money that can help support DEI leaders?
It
Sorry
costs.
to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
It just
No.
can't, like,
No, I think
do
it's,
all the resources cost, do they take a dime? Do they take a
yeah.
dime?
Yeah. The resources absolutely cost money, right? If
Mhm.
the leader is wanting to drive L&D efforts, that means they may need another member on their team, right? And I think
Right.
oftentimes organizations will only have one DEI leader leaning on that person to change an entire organization. It doesn't work that way. First thing, DEI teams have to actually be a team, not just one person.
Yeah.
There has to be a DEI L&D, DEI and anti-racism L&D person. There should also be a program person, right? There
Mm.
should be also a much more technical person or analytical person that's crunching the data, and even being able to kind of coordinate that. So there are a lot of roles within DEI, but I think oftentimes organizations are looking for quick fixes. And then what happens is they then get upset with those that are leading these efforts or the pressures
Hmm.
on them. So it's incredibly important that resources are definitely available. And I think another important matter is in the beginning, once a DEI leader joins the organization, ask them, how can we make sure that you're best supported? What type of
100%.
support or training do you want? Right?
Mhm.
Um, Oftentimes that question is not asked.
And also, if one thing I've noticed and observed in talking to you and seeing your network evolve, if you're a DEI leader and you're unsure what resources are needed, like, ask other folks who are doing the same work in your field. And that's why, like, community is so important, right? And we talk about it all the time, like, growing your village. If you reach out to other people, you can really help establish, like, what's working for them, what is it that they need that I possibly need to be asking for as well.
Right, absolutely. And I joke around, but it's actually not a joke. I have so many jobs, right? There's so many things that I'm doing at once. And I am a part of an organization full time in the fintech industry. And when I tell you executives are really dedicated and committed to this work. When I had initially joined the organization, the first question was, in fact, Netta, how can we make sure that you are set up for success? Right? So it wasn't them going on the basis of what they think they know. They had looked at me as an expert and asking me, hey, how much would you need for an ERSG? Hey, Netta, should we be paying our leaders? Absolutely. How much should we be providing for a budget? Right. And we do all of those things. The other thing as well is being a part of an organization and then being able to assess, okay, is there an application that we're currently using that I can use now, right? To track whatever data I'm tracking or to make sure that there's a level of accountability, or is that a resource, an external resource that I need? And at the organization that I'm currently at, we focus on no code. So we're able to create applications for clients all the time. And I remember thinking, all right, here's a perfect opportunity to make sure that I'm creating an application that holds every single employee accountable, right? So every employee has one DEI goal that they're working on for the year. It's like an individual goal that's tied to performance and pay and bonus. And we treat it the same exact way we would treat any type of performance, right? If you resist it, if you don't do it, it is a requirement. It becomes an issue, right? And it could potentially be termination. So I think, what I'm saying here is it really starts off with executive leadership and truly saying, okay, we are committing to the value of the efforts that this will then have within our organization on the people within our organization. And
That's awesome. And
it's
it
important.
sounds like the DEI goal, objective, KPI, OKR, whatever your organization needs,
Yeah.
uses, it sounds like it needs to be at the company level. So it needs to be at the company level and almost trickle through to every team, every employee, and
That's
not just like the DEI leader.
that's it. It has to be literally everyone playing a role.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
even down to, and I know we'll have another conversation around job descriptions, right? But whenever I take a look at job descriptions, there's nothing in there that lists a responsibility dedicated to DEI. That should be in every single job description. I don't care what role, how senior it is, or how junior it is. It should be a responsibility of every single individual within that organization.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if a company is saying from an external or even internal perspective, hey, we're committed to this. This is what we want to do. Okay, well then
Right.
show us the action, right? How does this
Yeah.
how does this play out?
And
Yeah.
even I love that because it even is something that we need to exercise in how, like the interview questions. Like
Mhm.
I have the luxury of being a part of an organization right now that's growing and is hiring.
Yeah.
And I think even when you're interviewing and talking about and asking folks to talk about situations where they've either had to resolve conflict with peers or collaborate with peers, learning more about how they feel they've been advocates for DEI throughout the organizations they've been a part of.
Mhm.
And I think it's great to kind of chime in and get people's pulse on that, even in the interview process. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah, and going back to the job descriptions, then people know
mhm.
what they're getting into. It's
They're
like,
not
wait,
playing around. They're like,
yeah,
it's
we're not
real.
playing around. We put this out externally. Yeah, we may
Exactly,
put
exactly,
our square up as
exactly.
well,
Yeah.
right?
Netta,
But we're
what
committed to
oh,
this.
oh, go ahead.
No, 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 go for it.
I was gonna say, what are some of the things you feel in your network and folks in the comments too, what are some of the things that you feel DEI leaders are being asked to do magically? Is it increase the number of like diverse hires? Is it, making the board more diverse? Is it around like resolving conflicts and training and things? What kind of group do you feel like the magic is mostly asked to be
Right.
performing?
The short answer is everything, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the most detailed answer I could, or response I should say, is really around increasing retention, because I think
Okay.
there's so much performance that's happening, and there has been so much weight placed on, hey, we need to increase representation. That is then placed on the DEI leader. And it's like, wait, hold on. What
Mm,
happened to your recruiting department?
right.
Right? What are some of those
Yeah.
efforts that your recruiting department is putting into this? And how are they ensuring that DEI and anti-racism is embedded in the process throughout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not when the DEI leader gets into the organization and then that's their focus. So that I would say is the greatest thing that I see, where organizations want this like magic to happen.
Mm.
And I think it's even increased if that person is from a systemically overlooked group. If that person
Yeah.
is identifying or Latinx Hispanic identifying, there's even more pressure for that. And it's like, wait, hold on, who told you I know all the Black people?
Or you can read their mind.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah, like
that too, right? Like, who said
you
that?
are also psychic, Netta. Like,
Well,
there you go.
let me answer your questions, okay? Um,
Mhm.
so funny, but I think definitely that is a big deal. I think the other piece too is around education, right? Just like being able
Mhm.
to do everything at once and being
Yeah.
a whole person doing it. That's magic.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be
Yeah.
placed, that type of expectation should not be placed on a DEI leader. That's too much stress, and again, there's so many articles and publications out there that then speak to the stress, the health,
Absolutely.
the issues that then occur for those individuals. And I really want to kind of put this out there. If you are someone that's experiencing that, truly rethink about that opportunity, right? And before you do get into an opportunity, making sure that you're asking those questions around what types of resources, or most importantly, what is the funding that's set up for DEI?
Right.
Not,
Like
oh,
when you're being interviewed, ask that question,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Not, oh, we'll think about it when I come on board.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Because and that's the thing, like what you were mentioning earlier, and I say this to folks on my team, like you want to make sure that you're being set up for success. And
yeah,
so if you as a DEI leader are in a role and the core foundations are not there for you to be successful, it's very problematic. And so
yeah,
then like you talked about identifying the resources, the budget, tying into that community and network so you're always getting fed,
yeah,
finding ways to stay encouraged and motivated also. But then I love the aspect of establishing ways to where each person in the organization is committed, like displaying and practicing and activating their commitment to DEI, like
yeah.
on a daily basis. Yeah.
So important for every single employee to be a part of the work,
Hmm.
right? And those efforts.
Yeah.
Most importantly, executives, like leadership, truly
Yeah.
being committed to that as well, and having their own KPIs, DEI KPIs that they have to work on.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so this has been an exciting conversation. This
Absolutely. It's
has
been
been
great.
exciting, and I want to
You
thank
pulled a bunny out of a hat.
listen, you brought out your the ears, right?
I know.
And here's my
So
magic wand.
many, so many things.
I don't know if my son's gonna be too happy. His light is not working
I
anymore.
know. Don't tell. We will try not to. We got to put our kids' toys back
That's what
before
we do. We
they
do.
get upset about that.
We really do. This has been awesome. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I love to see all the comments flowing. Crystal, great comments. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, Kathy, thank you for contributing. Everyone, we see you, and we will continue with this. And as I said in the beginning, head to ourdipper.com, sign up, rate and review the organizations that you've been a part of, your current organization. We want to make sure that people are guided to better organizations. And if you are
Yeah.
having a great experience, then we want them guided to your organization, right? Awesome. All right, just
100%. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you again for joining us.
awesome. Take care.